Good morning, Malacanang Press Corps and guests from Kalayaan College. Welcome sa regular press briefing. The presidential spokesperson, Harry Roque. Good morning, sir.
Well, good morning. As you know, the President went to Maguindanao yesterday in a town hall style meeting to assure our Muslim brothers that he stands by his commitment to ensure the passage of the Bangsamoro Basic Law. Now, the President's message is very clear. It was a campaign promise, and it is a commitment from him as President that he will do all that is necessary to rectify what he described as the historical injustice committed against the Muslim population of Mindanao. The President emphasized that unlike the previous BBL, this BBL is all-inclusive. It had in mind the MILF, the MNLF, and even the LUMADs. You will note that the LUMADs protested the last version of the BBL under the past dispensation because it classified LUMADs as Bangsamoro as well. Now, the MILF managed to gather 1 million-strong individuals. Although I'm not in a position to actually say it was 1 million from the air because we arrived by chopper, you could see that all the streets leading to the venue of the town hall was filled with individuals. No? Also today, the President issued and signed Executive Order Number 47, which amends EO Number 82, institutionalizing the legacy of the 1986 EDSA People Power Revolution. No? Now, there's a need to further amend EO 82 to ensure an effective integration of the functions of the EDSA People Power Commission and the National Historical Commission of the Philippines. The chairman of the NHCP shall now serve as ex officio chairman of the EDSA People Power Commission. The National Historical Commission shall likewise assume the management of the People Power Monument and ensure its continued maintenance and upkeep. And finally, I'd like to rectify a statement that I issued yesterday. I was not sure when the 30-day period should be reckoned from, and this is the 30-day period within which the military should advise the President on whether or not to extend the declaration of martial law in Mindanao. I think regardless of the number of days or regardless of where we are in terms of the 1-month period, the reality is the armed forces of the Philippines will have to give the advice because, as you know, Congress will have to be consulted on any effort to extend martial law, and Congress will go on recess this December 15, if I'm not mistaken. So, of course, the palace knows when this congressional recess will take place, and options are either that the request for whatever may be given before they go on recess, or like in the previous time, they may have to be a special session called for this purpose. But again, I would like to clarify that I'm really not sure when the 30-day period will be reckoned with. So the relevant period to be reckoned with is when Congress goes on recess. I'm now ready to answer your questions.
Question, Maricel Halili, TV5. Microphone, please.
Hi, sir. Good morning. Sir, some senators were called to the call of President Duterte for a special session, saying that they have a lot of issues at hand, given that they have to pass the national budget, et cetera, et cetera. May we have your reaction to this?
This is for what
sir?
special
For the
session?
Bangsamoro Basic Law, sir.
Well, he didn't say naman when he will actually call for the special session. He only emphasized that if need be, he will call Congress for a special session. He did not intend or he did not limit the time frame this year or the remaining part of December. In fact, the Bangsamoro bill is still at the committee level of the House. No? So we expect that we have time for Congress to discuss the BBL.
Sir, when the President said that he'll be calling a special session if needed, is he referring to a joint special session?
Well, you know, it does not matter because what is important only is that if they run out of time, a special session is required for Congress to meet as a body. It doesn't have to be a joint session. No? There's no requirement that it be a joint session, but a special session is required when Congress has run out of time because both houses of Congress must convene by way of special session if they are to approve bills.
Sir, how soon do you expect the BBL to be passed? Because some senators are also saying that it is quite impossible to pass it within the year.
I don't want to pressure Congress right now, but I think they have received the message that this is one of the top priorities of the administration.
Thank you, sir.
Follow-up, BBL, Joseph Morong.
Sir, when the president said that there's only going to be one republic, no? How does this statement mean in relation to, number one, the title of the basic law? Because basic law for the Bangsamoro, basic law, no? That supposes a constitution, parang may ganong legal, number one. And number two, how does it relate to yung contiguous territory na feature ng BBL? Because before that was the fear na it's going to spread, and in terms of territory, baka masyadong malaki.
Well, number one, when he says it will be one republic, there will still be only one political entity known as the Republic of the Philippines. However, the relationship of the proposed Bangsamoro entity will be with the Philippine government, we are not allowing any secession. We are not allowing the creation of a new state. It will have to be within the framework of the existing Republic of the Philippines, and that is what the president meant. No? Secondly, your second question is?
Yung sa contiguous territory. Kasi before, when I was covering this, kaya ayaw ng iba ng basic law yung title ng law is that may kind of assumption that it's a constitution for another state.
Well, I think the president is very clear on that. Whatever arrangement will be, it will be within the framework of one Republic of the Philippines, and we leave it to Congress for now, to determine the areas that will be covered by the Bangsamoro entity. I think that should be debated by Congress itself.
As submitted, sir, to the House of Representatives, ano yung assessment ng Palace as far as that version is concerned?
If I'm not mistaken, the requirement is there's a stated area, and there's a certain percentage if an area wants to join, to be called in a referendum. But I'm not sure about the details right now. But as I said, we would not want to preclude Congress. Let Congress debate it, because it is Congress that is a deliberative policy, a policy maker. It is an issue of policy, so we leave it to Congress.
Just one last point. March 21 daw, kaya na lang ibigay, sir.
I hope so. I did not want to give any time frame to the Congress, because they are, after all, a co-equal branch of government. But I have heard from my sources in OPAP that they're looking at sometime in March for the passage, at least in the House of Representatives.
Thank you.
Follow-up? Follow-up about BBL, Dexter Ganive.
Sir, good morning.
Yes,
Sir,
Dexter.
yung papandayin na basic law for Bangsamoro, ito po ba ay nakahilera na dun sa pinapanday, sinusulong po ngayon na federal form of government? Hindi po ba pag sinabi nating federal form of government, bawat federal state ay merong basic law?
Hindi po. Well, number one, as I said, the crafting of the policy is left to Congress. So we don't want to preclude Congress. But number two, what I can confirm is the President has committed passage of the BBL independent of the adoption of a federal form of government. Oftentimes the issue is asked which will come first. Well, I think it's very clear that from the pronouncement of the President yesterday, he has given top priority to the passage of the BBL.
So paano yun, sir? Kapag meron ng basic law for the Bangsamoro at naisulong din ang federalism, paano po mai-inline doon sa federal government? Yung
Alam niyo po, nakasaad sa jurisprudence natin, Congress is always presumed to know what the laws that it is passing. So kung maipapasa yung proposed amendments to the Constitution for federal form of government, matapos maipasa ang BBL, sigurado po ako na yung proposed amendments to the BBL would be consistent with the provisions on the BBL law passed.
Thank you, sir.
Questions? Follow-up? Other issue? Pia Ranyada.
Hi, sir.
Hi,
Sir,
Pia.
the President has been mentioning in many speeches that he is inclined to bring back the police to the drug war. And then he said po na he hasn't signed the EO yet, but he doesn't mention what particular consideration, what's stopping him exactly from actually signing the EO? Did you get a chance to ask him what was the major consideration in when he will sign that EO?
I think I said this yesterday in Panakan. I think we should allow the president absolute discretion on whether or not he will transfer it anew to the PNP and when he will do it. I will just reiterate that unless he issues the necessary written directive, it remains with the PIDEA, and let's leave it at that.
So sir, we weren't able to ask him why he still parang nag-aalinlangan siya to sign the EO.
Well, we talked about it when the victims of the Maguindanao massacre were with him last Wednesday, and that's why I know that there is no final decision on it, because the way he talked about it was it's still at that point where he is considering it. No, so I understand I understand that we need to clarify this matter, but what I'm saying is this is one of those areas subject to presidential prerogative. So let's give him all the time that he needs to study whether or not he will actually return it to the PNP and when.
Because, sir, we recall that he withdrew the PNP largely because of the corruption allegations. So the fact that he's actually mulling their return, does that mean that he's on a certain level of satisfaction with the purge of corrupt police in the force?
I will not speculate. I will again reiterate that let's leave the president be on this issue as he studies the matter very well.
All right, thanks, sir.
Follow up on drugs. Hannah Sancho.
Morning, Secretary Roque. Sir, may news report po ang Reuters na may na-obtain po sila mga CCTV footage sa isang police operation sa Manila. Ayon sa blotter, nanlaban yung 3 drug suspects. Pero taliwas po ito sa nakita sa CCTV na malinaw na binaril ito ng mga police enforcers. At may footage din na tila minumove ng mga police yung mga CCTV para hindi sila makunan during the operations. Pero hindi nila napansin kasi medyo marami pa rin CCTV dun sa area.
Well,
So,
I assure you that authorities are now looking into this matter. We're in the process also of authenticating the video. I assure you that the President will not tolerate any abuses that may be committed by some personnel of the PNP. Again, the palace position is we do not tolerate police violence, brutality, or killing. Of course, the latest pronouncement in this regard is still the Arnaiz case as well as the Kian case, that the President will not tolerate murders being committed by the PNP. But we are looking into this because this is very new. I think it only came out yesterday. No?
yesterday yung
Yes.
article, sir, yung incident last October 21.
And I myself have not seen the video, but I will see it at some point.
Sir, ngayon nasa PIDEA na po yung drug war. Yung mga reklamo doon sa mga police officers na may reklamo sa kanila na pinapatay talaga nila. Hindi na nalaban yung mga nahuhuli nila ng mga drug suspects. Ano na po yung update po dun sa yung mga police officers na yun, sir, na
Ang problema po, hindi natin
nirereklamo?
alam kung talaga may reklamo.
Okay.
Ang reklamo po ay sinusulat, isinasampa sa mga authorities. No? So marami po yung pwedeng puntahan. Pwedeng dalhin sa NAPOLCOM, pwedeng dalhin sa IAS, pwedeng dalhin sa Ombudsman, pwedeng dalhin sa PLEB. So ang problema po, maraming reports na di umano, merong mga katiwalian, pero hindi ko po alam kung ilan talaga ang mga complaints na nakasampa. Ngayong tinanong mo yan, mahahanap po ako ng figura kung ilan talaga yung mga naisampang complaints nang malaman po natin talaga kung meron nga bang reklamo. Kaya nga po, hinihimo ko yung mga abogado, tumulong kayo sa proseso pagkalap ng ebidensya, dahil kung wala naman po magrereklamo, paano tayo mag-iimbestiga at paano tayo magpaparusa? Hindi po sapat yung press release na may mga ganitong reklamo, kinakailangan may aktual na complaint na isasampa. At napakadami pong pwedeng pagsampahan dyan. Pati po dito sa Presidential Action Center, pwede na po sila magreklamo kung ayaw nilang pumunta sa NAPOLCOM, sa IAS, sa PLEB, o di naman kaya sa Ombudsman.
Thank you, sir.
Follow up on drugs. Other issue, Jar Rosales.
Good day, folks. Two questions lang po. First, MGB Director Wilfredo Moncano last week said it is difficult for some mining companies to stop paying the NPA revolutionary taxes. He said refusing to pay in most cases leads to burning of heavy equipment of the mining companies. Does President Duterte have a directive on how to address this in light of his threat to shut down mining companies financing the NPA?
I will not annotate what the president said. He says that those who will pay revolutionary tax will be shut down. Now, I am sure that there will be consequences. Well, call upon the PNP and the Armed Forces of the Philippines to do their job.
So, magkakaroon po ba ng directive to the defense forces to somewhat provide security to
Naku,
these
hindi
mining
na po
companies?
kailangan ng directive dahil yan po talaga yung mandato ng kapulisan at ng hukbong sandatahan. Ang mandato po ng pulis ay to deal with problems involving law and order at meron din po silang mandato to deal with yung ongoing rebellion. No? At ganyan din po ang mandato ng ating hukbong sandatahan. No? Not just to deal with external threats but also with internal threats. No? At lalong-lalo na po sa Mindanao where there is a state of martial law, talaga pong merong katungkulan ang militar no, na panatiliin din ang kapayapaan dyan sa Mindanao.
Then, last question, sir. What legislative action does the Duterte administration intends to prioritize with the Congress coming to a close for a Christmas break po? Ang dami po kasi yatang nakapila ngayon, yung pagpapasa ng train, yung possible extension of the martial law. Ano po yung
Siyempre po, importante yung budget. Dahil pag hindi po nainak ang budget, yan po yung single most important output ng ating Kongreso, yung pantao ng budget. Wala tayong bagong budget, hindi magkakaroon ng katuparan yung build kung hindi magkakaroon ng pagtaas ng budget. Ang implication po pag hindi napasa ang budget ay we will have a reenacted budget and we have a slightly higher budget for this year of 2018 compared to 2017. Nandyan din po yung train, syempre, dahil yung train po is also intended to finance the Build program of the Philippines. No? And kung hihingi po talaga ng extension of martial law, although this is premature dahil wala pa namang request, that will also be a priority. Now, the martial law though is, it's not as if Congress has an option because if the President declares, they're duty-bound to convene whether or not they're in session.
So, confident po ang Palace na kayang gawin to lahat within 1 month?
Kaya naman po yan dahil yung tatlong yan, tingin ko matagal na pong napagdedebatihan sa Senado. Tapos na po lahat yan sa Kamara ha. So sa Senado na lang po inaantay natin.
Thank you.
Ted Tubera.
Good morning, Secretary.
Yes, Ted.
Secretary, is the government still open to doing efforts to restore the peace talks with the CPP, NPA, NDF, like doing localized talks?
Napapangiti na ako kasi talagang tinatanong yan at well-publicized na yung sinabi kong it is permanent, that the cessation of peace talks is permanent for now, no? And it's ironical, but that is really the status right now, no? We have shut the doors for now to any ongoing peace talks. I'm not in a position to say that the door will forever be shut. We need to see sincerity on the part of the CPP-NPA. Show us that you are sincere, and I'm sure the President will act accordingly.
Yun nga, Secretary, how do we reconcile that permanent for now? Are we saying na that's the position of the current administration, and if this administration is done, there will be, the next administration would deal with the CPP-NPA?
I do not know what else I can say in this, no? Kasi wala na munang peace talks. Yun lang po yun. Hanggang walang sinseridad ang CPP-NPA. I do not know what else I can say. Kaya po napapangiti na ako kasi it's always a question, no? But the ball is in the court of the CPP-NPA. Show the requisite sincerity and the President might just consider, but for now, no more peace talks.
What are these conditions or to say that they are sincere?
Naku, hindi ko na po alam yun. Nasa kanila na yun. Nasa kanila na po yun.
Follow-up.
Pero again, uulitin ko po, no? Nakita nyo naman ang chronology of events dyan, ha? Talaga namang wala na ibang presidente na nagbigay ng ganitong leeway para magkaroon ng usaping kapayapaan, and you have got to give it to President Duterte. Wala pong ganyang presidente na talagang all out na tinanggap niya na magkakaroon ng kapayapaan at kinilala niya na stakeholder, no, sa kanyang gobyerno itong mga miyembro ng CPP-NPA. At some point, Cory Aquino, I guess, also did that, pero that was for a very short period of time only, no? Pero dito po talagang maximum tolerance naman ang kanyang ipinakita.
Last on my part, Secretary. I want, could we clarify kung is the President still open to having this traditional Christmas truce with the CPP-NPA?
Now, that's a different matter. Let's wait for the President's action. Kasi traditional naman yan, no? Dahil Pasko, tigil putukan, but that's the President's call. What I'm saying is the termination of peace talks is a separate issue from whether or not he will declare. Ang tawag dyan, SOMA nga ba?
SOMO.
SOMO. Ang tawag dyan, SOMO. No? So that's completely a different topic. Let's await word from the President.
Thank you,
Okay,
Secretary.
thank you, JP Bencito.
Hi, sir. Good morning. Just a follow-up on this. Sir, following the suspension of the peace talks, the NTF is still waiting for an official communication from the government. Sir, can we expect this kind of document to be sent to the Reds soon? When will this be?
Yes, that's a bit of legalist. No, that's too legalistic an approach. What else do they want? The president already issued a proclamation saying it's been terminated. It's not as if the NDF has a status of a state. It's not as if we're dealing with a treaty entered into between state parties. That's enough that there is a formal proclamation. Whether or not they will be given a formal letter of termination, to me that would be superfluous. Get a copy of the proclamation, and it's very clear. Peace talks are over for now.
Sir, just a follow-up on this also. Sir, there is a agreement that was signed between the government negotiators and the NDF before. It's called the JASIG. It provides joint agreement on safety and immunity guarantees. Sir, it provides guarantees to some of the NDF negotiators who are currently abroad or allows safe passage. Sir, will the government continue to acknowledge or recognize these agreements that were signed between among also with the NDF following the President's pronouncements?
I think that's to facilitate the conduct of peace talks. But since there are no more peace talks, there's no imperative to recognize these JASICs. No?
Sir,
and again, I stress, no, the agreements, while signed, does not have the status of a treaty, and because it does not have a status of a treaty, the maxim of pacta sunt servanda finds no application.
Sir, with that pronouncement of yours, how do we expect an arrest of the negotiators who were currently out on bail just to proceed with the peace talks? When do we expect? Will we instruct the Justice Department to do something about this?
I will not in any way alter the words of the President. It was the President himself who said that he will now order the arrest of the term he used was the legal front of the CPP NPA. No? So that's the current policy.
But sir, we don't have any instruction or timeline to the Justice Department when will we proceed with these arrests?
No timeline, but I think the Department of Justice knows what to do. Because in many of these instances, it was actually government prosecutors that asked for the temporary release of some of these individuals.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, questions? Other issue? Okay, Joseph Morong.
Clarification. During the speech, he said, order the surrender. Ordering an arrest is different because medyo passive yung order to surrender. Pero it's the EFP saying...
Okay, so what I meant to say was I will not paraphrase the President, go back to the transcript, that's what he said, it will remain.
So it's
whatever it is actually that he said, because I don't have the transcript here, no? But I was present when he said it, and well, we need the transcript. But what I'm saying is I am not going to annotate what he has already said.
Is he ordering the arrest of these leaders, 30 to 40?
Check the transcript. Check the transcript. But if I remember correctly...
Order surrender yung term.
I do not know, but we have to check the transcript. But the essence of what I understand is he can arrest them. Those who were released temporarily, who were previously subject of warrants of arrest, will be rearrested. correct? Those subject of warrant of arrest will be rearrested.
Questions, MPC?
Ano na?
Use the microphone.
Surrender or face punitive action. Yes.
Pia Planyada.
Hi, sir. Sir, there are rallies of supporters who want a revolutionary government on November 30. And in pictures of some organizers, there were government officials meeting with the organizers. So some in the public are confused. Is this a government-sanctioned event? What is the Malacanang's position on these events?
These are individuals in the exercise of freedom of expression. So be it.
So, sir, no government backing at all? No resources of the government
I am
will
not
be
aware
spent on
of
these?
any government directive for anyone in the bureaucracy to join these rallies.
Is there a message from Malacanang to these supporters, given that the president has already said that he does not want to declare a revolutionary government?
You know, the president has never disallowed any public gathering, pro or against the administration. No? So why should there be any different policy for pro-Duterte groups that wish to exercise their freedom of expression? They're welcome to do so.
Okay, last question. Dexter, Rosalie Cos.
Hello po. Sir, meron na naman pong nationwide transport strike sa December 4 and 5, ang No to Jeepney Phase Out Coalition. So, inclined po bang Malacanang na mag-suspend ng classes? And ano po ang warning, reaction ng Malacanang sa napipinto na naman pong transport strike?
Well, nung nakaraan po, isang grupo lang naman ang sumuporta sa transport strike. Kung nagdesisyon ng palasyo dati na kanselahan ng klase, kasi hindi pa siguro alam ng gobyerno kung ganong kalawak yung suporta at ayaw nilang magkaroon ng aberya ang ating mga mag-aaral. So, ganyan po yung konteksto na naman na gagawa ng desisyon ng gobyerno, gagawin ng lahat para maprotektahan ang mananakay sa kahit anong aberya na magiging resulta ng transport strike. Having said that, I think the LTFRB is correct in saying that the holders of public franchise and conveniences are precluded from joining such action, and therefore expect that their participation will come with the legal consequences, no, as far as the award of Certificate of Public Convenience is concerned.
Follow up. Other issue.
Hi, sir, going back lang po dun sa Reuters report. Could we get more details po on which agency was asked to look into this matter, sir?
Definitely, the police.
The police then.
And this is very new, so I'm sure the police are looking into this because it affects conduct of alleged policemen, because we do not know yet. We have to authenticate the video, no? But the police is looking into it, and I do not know if the president will order other branches of government or agencies of government to do so. I would look at the video in my capacity as presidential advisor on human rights, but I will have to find the video, and it will have to be somehow authenticated.
Follow up, sir. Do you think this will have a bearing dun sa decision ni President to bring back the police to the drug war? Magiging factor po ba to, sir?
You know, kasi ang problema dyan yung sa isyong yan, any which way we say, or whatever we say, hanggang hindi pa ginagawa ng presidente, the matter remains pending. Kaya nga apila ko, pabayaan muna natin yung presidente. I do not know if it will or it will not have an impact, but until the president has actually issued anything in writing, let's respect the status quo.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, last two, Joseph Morong and Dexter Ganibe.
Sir, just on the RevGov, what is the president's actual position?
Di
as
ba,
far as-
nandun ka naman sa Vietnam?
But sir, too.
Ha?
Sometimes he says.
No,
he
but
wants
nasa
it.
Vietnam ka. He shrugged it off.
Okay.
Di ba, you and I were both present there, no?
Correct.
So I go by that. That's the official position.
Because there's a statement from the speaker na sinasabi niya na if may ganun na plano, handa sila na mabuwag yung camera and they're ready to lose their jobs. I mean, if the speaker is saying things like this, siguro naman meron siyang konting background that this might be a serious thing, or he's just responding to a theoretical question.
Well, I'm not the spokesperson for the speaker. I can't speak for him. But you and I heard and saw the president's declaration on the revolutionary government in Vietnam. I don't think it has been altered since.
Okay. All right, cool. Thank you.
Thank you, Joseph. Dexter Ganibe, last question.
So tomorrow, we will go to Suwat, Pangasinan for the release of the Vietnamese fishermen. And on Friday, hindi pa na-announce yung Friday nila, no? So anyway, bahala na yung Friday. Let them announce. May trip na naman. There's another trip, no? Back to Mindanao, no?
May
Back to
plane.
Mindanao. But anyway, November 30 is just around the corner. So you will find out the truth of whether or not there will be revolutionary government by November 30. Members of the cabinet were assigned their respective assignments, given their respective assignments because it's commemoration, no, for the different heroes. I'm assigned to Caloocan, no, so I will be there at 4 p.m. on November 30.
May special question daw po si Dexter Ganibe bago tayo mag-
For next week, ano yun?
Off-cam na lang daw.
Ano ba naman yan? Special question for next week? Napaka-premature.
Okay.
Our
Thank
lives here are, on a daily basis.
Ang year-end report daw yun, sir. Thank you, Presidential Spokesperson Harry Roque. Thank you, Malacanang
Thank
Press
you.
Corps and guests. Welcome, back to our main studio sa Radyo Pilipinas and PTV.